Hi, yogis. I'm just going to send my link out to everyone. Hi, I see that someone jumped on. We'll get started in about 7 minutes. I'm just setting everything up. All right, I think my links are all out to my yoga students in Chicago. Cool. Get settled if you're on, and we will get started in about 6 minutes. Welcome to anyone else that has joined. I'll be using a block today, maybe. We'll see. I like to have one just on hand just in case. Again, if you've seen me in the other streams, I've been using this Harry Potter 5 book. It's just kind of the closest I could get to the shape of a block that I wanted, but use whatever you'd like in your house or a real block if you have one. And if you do, I'm very jealous. And we have about 4 minutes to get started. Feel free, though, if you're on in this time, to hang out in an extended child's pose or in Supta Baddha Konasana or anything that might get you comfortable and settled and ready to start in when we start in. We have just a few more minutes before we get started to see if anyone else wants to pop on. Welcome to whoever just joined. We will get started in about a minute. So get settled, get comfy. I see someone else joined. Welcome, welcome. I'm so glad you're all here to practice with me. We still have about a minute before we'll get started, and I'm going to have a block or my trusty Harry Potter book with me today. So if that's something you feel like you might need for your practice, I always like to have one on hand. So go ahead and take a moment to grab one of those, and then we'll all get started. To start, we're going to find a comfortable position. Maybe that's on your knees. Maybe that's in cross-legged position like this. I'm going to take cross-legged position today and place the block under my hips just to stack them up on top, give my hips a little bit of lift. Stack your head over your heart over your hips, whichever position you've taken. And place the hands either palms down on the knees or palms up on the knees, depending on what kind of energy you feel like you need tonight. Palms down for a more grounding energy. Palms up if you feel like you need a little more energy to gaze on the floor in front of you, or let them flutter all the way closed. Feel the sits bones grounding down into the mat or your block / book. Feel your sternum raise just slightly. Start to bring your attention inward. Take a scan of the body, starting with the crown of the head, moving through the face, the cheekbone, the jawbone, your ears. Not doing anything to manipulate it or make a change, just take note. Are you feeling a little different than you felt yesterday, the day before, whenever the last time you were on your mat was? Move through the neck and the shoulders, down the arms, through the elbows, the forearms, the wrists, the palms and the fingers. Move through the chest, the abdominals, down through the pelvis. Again, just taking note. Whatever comes up, let it come up. Take a little mental note and then let it float away. The hips and the thighs. Move through the knees and the ankles. Through the heel of the foot, the arch of the foot, the ball of the foot, and the toes. Start to bring your awareness to the breath, the crest and fall of the belly, with every inhale and every exhale. Start to imagine the inhales moving your front body upwards, and the exhales bringing your back body all the way down to let your hips fall deeper into the mat. So on the inhale, the sternum might lift slightly. The crown of the head might lift slightly. And on the exhale, shoulder blades come together and down the back, hip points pressing deeper into the earth. And continue that for the next few cycles of breath. Inhaling up the front body and exhaling to drop back down into the back body. See if you can lengthen your inhales and your exhales by just 1 second. Nothing crazy, nothing that's super challenging, just a slight increase, a slight deepening of our breath. That beautiful thing that keeps us alive. Let's just increase that inhale and exhale by just a little more. Maybe not even a full second. Whatever feels right. Each inhale, imagine yourself inhaling gratitude, gratefulness for that breath, the ability we have to breathe, to always close our eyes and come back to the breath. And on every exhale, visualize exhaling that gratitude out to every other person practicing with you right now. Or really anyone at all. On my inhale, I'm feeling gratitude for my breath. On the exhale, sending that gratitude to all of you practicing with me, either in this exact moment or on the replay. Maintaining those long inhales and long exhales that we've fostered. Maintaining that upward rise with every inhale and the falling of the shoulder blades together and back and the hip points down with every exhale. Or if that's too much, just take one element that we've talked about and incorporate that into the breath for these next few cycles of breath. Wherever you are, exhale all your stale air out. And we'll come back to a regular breath. You can let your eyes flutter open. Oh, and let's start with some gentle movement. Inhale, let the arms come all the way up. And exhale, drop your hands down to the sides. Inhale, shoot the hands up overhead. Exhale, press the hands down like you're pressing down taffy. So there's a little resistance there that you're creating. We'll continue a few more breaths here. Inhale, lift both hands up. Exhale, drop the right hand to the right side. And let the left hand come all the way over across. If you need to remove your block here, you can go ahead and remove your block. If you'd like to keep it there, you can keep it there. If you didn't use it, ignore me. Pretend I'm not saying anything. You can come down to the forearm if that feels necessary, but if you do, make sure to press that left hip point into the earth. Let your sternum turn just slightly up towards the ceiling. You can let your gaze fall softly on the ceiling. Feel the outer left rib cage expand with every inhale and collapse with every exhale. And we'll take a few gentle movements of the left arm here. Inhaling, slightly opening up towards the back wall. Exhale, scooping that hand down to the ground. Inhale, open up. Chest shining open. And exhale, finding a dome in the back, scooping that left hand around. Like you're scooping something like cookie dough out in front of you. I made cookies this morning, so I can't stop thinking about cookies. And keep moving back and forth on the breath. You can move as slowly or as quickly as you'd like. And the next time you come up, exhale back to center. Inhale, lift both hands. Exhale, drop the left fingertips and let the right fingertips reach up and over. Again, option to come down to the forearm, but not necessary. And if you do come down to that forearm, press that right hip into the ground, the right sits bones. Rotate the sternum just slightly towards the ceiling if it feels good. It might be so little that it's not even visible, but just enough for you to feel it. Let your gaze fall softly on the ceiling. Feeling the ribs expand, those right ribs on the inhale and collapse on the exhale. Inhale, open up just slightly, right finger here, breath to movement. Remembering you can go as slowly or as quickly as you'd like. Maybe play with speed. See how it feels when you move as fast as you can. Moving down and up. Seeing how it feels if you move as slowly as you can. And know that that's a tool you always have. Again, I'm just a guide. I'm just here to give you some basic instructions. You can come back up to center. Release both hands. Bring your right ear to your right shoulder, right hand sweeping up and over and resting on that left ear. Left fingertips can reach towards the mat. And turn the nose in towards the armpit. Place the hand on the back of the head. And lift the hand, pop the left ear to the left shoulder, and you can let the right hand rest on that right ear. Really setting ourselves up, taking our time in this first part, so that when we get into the more active part, we get into the more challenging part, our bodies are ready. Turn the nose in towards the armpit, place the left hand on the back of the head. There's a lot to be said for taking your time in the setup to get that much more out of the work that we do later. Lift the hand up, bring the hands all the way down to your sides, and we're going to move in through our cat-cow. So we'll start in tabletop. Find your knees underneath your hips, your wrists underneath your shoulders. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the chest and the hip points. Exhale, curl through the spine, find a dome, chin to chest. Take a few of these on your own. Inhale, drop the belly, chest shines forward. Exhale, curl through the tailbone, chin to chest, dome that spine. Taking whatever variation here you need, whether it's side to side, sitting the heels back and coming through baby cobra. Maybe thread the needle if that feels good. If those aren't anything you're familiar with, that's okay. Just use what's in your practice right now, or take traditional cat-cow this whole time. Beautiful. Find your wrists underneath your shoulders, and then pop your elbows where your wrists were. Lift your hip points back and up, sweeping back into a puppy. Chest falls towards the mat. Come up onto your fingertips, finding a dome in your palm, and engage your forearms. And sweep back up through. Come onto your neutral tabletop, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. And we're going to flip the toes underneath and go ahead on the next exhale, lift your knees 2 inches off the mat. Squeeze your belly button towards your spine. Lift up off of your shoulders so you're completely engaged. Knit those low ribs in. And let the knees drop back to the mat. You can rock back and forth, rock the hips side to side. And on the next exhale, lift up the knees. Engage that core, keep everything tight. And release the knees to the mat. Rock side to side. We'll take that one more time. Exhale, lift the knees up. And this time, instead of dropping, you're going to pull the hips back and up into downward facing dog. Press into your knuckles. Let your spine go long. Hip points back and up. Here, take a bend of the right leg. Bend the left leg. Bend both knees, roll onto the balls of the feet. Press the hip points back and up while simultaneously pressing up out of your hands. And drop those knees back down. Beautiful. Look towards your hands and you can walk your feet behind your wrists. Rag doll. Reach for opposite elbows. Rock side to side. And shake the head yes. Shake the head no. Shake the head maybe. Slight bend in the knees and we'll roll all the way up. Inhale, hands up to the ceiling. And exhale, bring your hands to heart center. Lift your sternum just slightly to shoot up towards your thumbs. Press all four corners of your feet down into the mat. If you practice with an intention here, this is the moment to take it. If that's not your thing, just focus on pressing the sternum up into your thumbs and your palms together to open that chest up. And drop the hands to the sides. Let's take one community breath together. Inhale through the nose. And exhale out through the mouth. Inhale, lift the arms all the way up to the ceiling. Exhale, mini back bend, sternum towards the ceiling, hands at goalposts. Inhale, arms shoot back up. And exhale, forward fold, hinge at the hips. Inhale, halfway lift. Place the hands on the shins or on the thighs and find length in the spine. Find a flat back. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Find your gaze down, straight down at the mat in front of you to not crunch your neck. Pull that tailbone towards the back of your mat. Pull the top of your head towards the front of the mat. Feeling the spine decompressing here. And drop the hands onto the mat and step back into our plank. We're going to hang out in plank for a hot second, really setting up here. So go ahead, set yourself up, let your legs, so you're going to have one long line coming from the heels, through the hips, through the crown of the head. Press up out of your shoulders. So you don't want to drop into your shoulders and get lazy up top. Really engage, press down into the palms to come up out of the shoulders. Belly button pops towards the spine. The low ribs knit in together like you're wearing a corset. And heels shoot towards the back of the mat. Hinge forward about 2 inches. Pin the elbows in towards the sides and slowly lower all the way down to the belly. Let your feet flip under so the backs of the feet are on the mat. We're going to come into baby cobra. Elbows pinned into your sides, shoulder blades squeezed together, sternum lifts up off the mat. Your fingers should be light here, so no real weight is in the fingers. Press into the hips and the mat. Press the backs of the feet down on the mat. Tuck the chin just slightly so as not to crunch the back of your neck. Feel yourself rise and fall just slightly with every inhale and exhale. And slowly lower all the way back down. Press into your hands and press your hips back towards your heels. And we'll meet in downward facing dog. Take take a second here, and I'm just going to go over really quickly the different options for chaturanga. So that was belly to baby cobra that we just did, and we're going to use chaturanga for the rest of class. I don't normally explain this in class, but I really want to make sure we're all doing it with the proper alignment. Make sure so you don't hurt yourself or so that you're getting the most out of it. So there are a few different options. The first option is the traditional chaturanga. So you'll start in that plank pose we just worked on. Pin your elbows into your sides, hinge forward about 2 inches, and slowly lower to a half plank. From here, you're going to shine the chest forward, flip the toes so the backs of the toes are on the mat, engage the legs so much the knees lift off, and shine the chest forward. Press into your palms and hips come back and up into our downward facing dog. That's traditional chaturanga. The other option would be to take it on your knees instead of from plank. And if you feel like you can't do it without changing the alignment in plank, take it on your knees, because that's what you've got to do until you build that muscle up. You build that alignment, and then you'll move into your upward facing dog, your downward facing dog. Another option is to just hang out in plank while I cue that. And the third option is to meet back in downward facing dog. So choose what you want to do. You can change what you do throughout class. You don't have to use the same variation every time, but we're going to move through and do quite a bit with chaturanga today. So I wanted to make sure when I throw it in that many times that we're all kind of on the same page. So let's meet all back in downward facing dog. And we'll take that same little sun A flow 2 times, but with a chaturanga of your choice, or belly to baby cobra, the one we started with. Inhale, look towards the hands. Exhale, walk your feet behind your wrists. Inhale, root to rise, press into the feet, sweep the hands up to the ceiling. Exhale, hands at heart center. Inhale, mini back bend. Sternum raises just slightly. And exhale, back to center. Inhale, lift the arms. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, chaturanga dandasana. Choice is yours. Pin the elbows into the sides, hinge forward, and come all the way down to half plank. Inhale, upward facing dog, chest shines forward. Exhale, downward facing dog, hip points back and up. Inhale, look towards your hands. Exhale, walk your feet behind your wrists. Inhale, root to rise. Bend those knees slightly, engage the core as the arms sweep up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, goal post arms, baby back bend. Exhale, arms come back down. Inhale, arms up to the ceiling. Exhale, hinge at the hips, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, chaturanga of your choice. Pin the elbows in, lower yourself down. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Beautiful. Inhale, look towards your hands. Exhale, walk, step, or jump your hands behind your wrists. Inhale, chair pose, Utkatasana. Sweep the arms up, sit back down into your chair. Fingertips shooting out overhead. Your chin should be tucked just slightly to find length in the back of the neck. Core is engaged here. See if you can sit just 1 inch deeper. That same kind of movement we had when we were in halfway lift, where you're pulling the crown of your head in one direction and your tailbone in the opposite direction is what you should feel here. Hold on just a little bit longer. Keep that core engaged. And exhale, release the hands to the ground. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, plant the hands. Chaturanga of your choice, or just meet in downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the right leg high. And this is our first time, so you can take a hot second to set up, make some circles with the legs. Stack the hips if it feels good. And then meet with your leg back in the air, hips square. Inhale, find some length. Exhale, low lunge on the right. Now stay down here for a moment again, setting up, rocking back and forth, maybe rocking onto that heel. And then plant your feet. Plant your hands on either side. Squeeze your belly button to the spine. Squeeze the thighs together. Press the left hand into the mat and lift the right hand high for a little twist. And release the hand back to the mat. We're going to come all the way up to a high lunge. Sweep the hands all the way up. Option always here to drop that back knee to the ground for balance. And open up to our warrior two. Track the front knee towards the outer pinky toes, arms reaching in opposite directions. Press into the knife edge of the back foot. And go ahead, cartwheel the hands to frame the front foot. I'm going to have you from here step back into a high plank and roll over onto the left hand. Sweep the right hand up towards the ceiling for side plank. Option always here to drop that left knee to the mat. Another option, if you want a little more, raise that foot, that top right foot, up towards the ceiling. Come on back down to plank and take a chaturanga however you'd like. Inhale, lift the left leg high. Actually, take a second. This is our first one. Don't let me rush you. Take some circles, stack the hips, whatever feels good here. And then we'll meet in a high three-legged dog, left leg in the air. Exhale, low lunge on the left. Left leg sweeps through those front hands. Rock back and forth, really set up, settle in. Bending into that left foot, or left knee rather. You can rock onto the heel, flex the foot, whatever feels good. Press into your right hand, lift your left hand to the ceiling for a gentle twist. And come on back down to center. Squeeze the thighs together, engage the core, and let the hands come out and up to your high lunge, remembering that you can always pop that back knee down. Arms are reaching up towards the ceiling. The front knee is still bent. And we'll open up to our warrior two on the left. Swivel the back heel down to parallel the back of your mat. Bend into the front knee coming towards the pinky toes, arms reaching in opposite directions. We're going to hang here for a moment. Engage, keep it active, keep pressing into the outer edge of that back foot. And exhale, frame the front foot with your hands. Step back into your plank and roll over onto your right palm for side plank on the right. Option here to drop that right knee down for a little stability. Option to lift that left leg. Ooh, I keep kicking the wall in the air. And roll back over onto your plank. And we'll take a chaturanga however you'd like. And we'll all meet in downward facing dog. Let's move through that whole flow, breath to movement. Inhale, look towards your hands. Exhale, step walk or jump your feet behind your wrists. Inhale, chair pose, arms sweep up, sit 1 inch deeper than you did last time. Exhale, drop your hands, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, squeeze the shoulder blades. Exhale, chaturanga, any version you'd like. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the right leg high. Exhale, low lunge on the right. Inhale, plant the left hand. Exhale, twist, lift the right hand high. Inhale, right hand comes back down. Exhale, sweep all the way up for your high lunge. Inhale, warrior 2. And exhale, sweep back down to frame the foot. Inhale, step back to plank pose. Exhale, side plank on the left, roll over onto the left side. We'll do 1 inhale here, static. And exhale, come on back to plank. Inhale once in plank. Exhale, chaturanga dandasana, the version of your choice. Inhale, upward facing dog. Shine that chest forward. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the left leg high. Exhale, low lunge on the left. Inhale, plant the right hand. Exhale, left hand reaches high. Inhale, left hand comes back down. Exhale, sweep all the way up to our high lunge. Inhale, warrior 2 on the left. Swivel the back heel down to parallel the back of the mat. Exhale, cartwheel the hands to frame the front foot. Inhale, plank pose. Exhale, side plank on the right. Left hand sweeps up towards the ceiling. Inhale once here, holding. And exhale, drop the hand back down to plank. Inhale, plank pose. Exhale, chaturanga of your choice. Inhale, look towards your hands. Exhale, step walk or jump your feet behind your wrists. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, chaturanga dandasana of your choice, or skip it, meet in down dog, whatever feels right in this moment. All right, coming from down dog, inhale, lift the right leg high. Exhale, low lunge on the right. Inhale, plant the left hand. Exhale, right hand sweeps high. Inhale, right hand comes back down. Exhale, come all the way up to high lunge. Inhale, warrior 2 on the right. And exhale, cartwheel the hands down to frame the foot. Inhale, plank pose. Exhale, plank on the left. Let the right hand reach high. Inhale for 1 breath here. Exhale, come on back to plank. Inhale once in plank. Exhale, chaturanga dandasana. Inhale, lift the left leg high. Exhale, low lunge on the left. Inhale, plant the right hand. Exhale, left hand comes high for twist. Inhale, left hand descends. Exhale, sweep all the way up, high lunge on the left. Inhale, warrior 2 on the left. And exhale, cartwheel the hands down to frame the foot. Inhale, high plank. Exhale, side plank on the right. Left hand sweeps into the air. Inhale, 1 breath here. And exhale, come on down to our high plank. Inhale, high plank. Exhale, chaturanga dandasana. Inhale, look towards your hands. Exhale, drop your knees. all the way to the mat. Beautiful, yogis. Get some water if you need some water, and we're going to move through our boat pose. So go ahead, find your boat pose. If you needed to take some water, know that you'll get there. Just take your time whenever you need to meet me. This isn't going to be a hard one to follow. So we'll start pressing your sits bones down into the mat. Feel your crown of your head moving up towards the ceiling to lengthen the spine. Bring the shoulder blades together, down the back. Hands can come to the backs of the thighs. Sometimes I like to clasp my hands underneath when I start. It helps me open my chest up and keep a straight back. And start to rock backward onto your toes. The moment your lower back starts to collapse, you've gone too far. So if this is enough, hang out here. If you'd like to lift your feet to parallel your shins, that's okay. And if you want to fully straighten the legs, go ahead. Wherever you've taken, option to let your arms come out to the sides. Squeeze that belly button towards the spine, knit the low ribs in. Feel the inner thighs sealing together. And drop your toes to the floor. Plant your hands behind you. You can drop your knees from side to side. Beautiful. From here, we're going to take that again. So plant those sits bones down into the mat. Find length in the spine, shoulder blades together and down the back, reaching for the backs of the thighs. Start to slowly lean backward. And lift the feet if it feels right. Straighten the legs if it feels right. The arms come to the sides if it feels right. If none of it feels right, well, try a different variation. Know that you can always keep your toes on the mat. This is about engaging the core, engaging the back body, keeping the spine long. And let the toes drop. Plop the hands behind and we'll windshield wiper those knees from side to side. And know that any of these poses can be different from day to day. There are some days I feel like straightening my legs, lifting my arms to the ceilings. There are some days where I don't want to take my hands off the backs of my thighs and my toes stay on the ground. So listen to your body. There's no good way to do it. There's the way that your body needs today. Go ahead, cross your legs and push all the way through to a tabletop position. Let's go ahead and take one round of cat-cow here. Inhale, drop the belly, hip points come back and up. Exhale, dome through the spine. We'll come back to a neutral tabletop. Tuck the toes under and sweep the legs back and up for your downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your right leg high. Exhale, low lunge on the right. Inhale, sweep up to high lunge. Squeeze the belly button towards the spine. Thighs come together. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, hinge forward. And exhale, prayer twist on the right. Bring the left elbow to the outside of the right knee. Find length in the spine with every inhale. Twist a little deeper with every exhale. Use your hands as a tool here. So hold that left hand solid. You can press your right palm into your left to push your sternum up just slightly. Inhale back to center. Exhale, bring your hands to the inside of your foot, toe heeling that foot to the top corner of the mat. Drop the back knee down. Take a little runner's lunge here. If you want to come down to the forearms, come on down to the forearms. If it doesn't feel good, don't come onto the forearms. Sometimes those are the things that seem like no-brainers, but I know there are a lot of times where there are things that I think I should be able to do, and my body's not feeling like it, and doing those things just isn't beneficial, even if you know that you physically can. If you've come down to your forearms, go ahead, pop back up. You can toe heel your foot back to center and press back to your plank. Take a chaturanga of your choice here. Scoot forward, elbows pinned into sides. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the left leg high. Exhale, low lunge on the left. We're going to sweep up to high lunge. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, hinge forward slightly. Exhale, prayer twist on the left. Bring that outside of the right elbow to the outside of the left thigh. Press into that right palm with the left palm. Sternum coming slightly up. Every inhale, lengthen a little more. Every exhale, turn slightly more to the left. Inhale back to center. Exhale, drop the hands to the inside of the foot, toe heeling that right foot, or that left foot rather, to the top corner of the mat. Drop your back knee down. Option here to drop onto the forearms if that feels good. You've come down to the forearms. Come on back up. Toe heel the foot back to center. Press into your hands and step back into your high plank. From here, take whatever chaturanga variation feels good. Maybe it's hanging out in plank. Maybe it's hanging out in belly to cobra. Maybe a regular traditional chaturanga, or like me, just hanging out in down dog. And once you're in down dog, inhale, bend the knees. Exhale, drop the knees to the mat. I'm going to cue a crow pose for a peak pose today. Feel free to try the crow pose. Feel free to do whatever you feel like you need in this moment. If there's a different arm balance you want to do, if you want to do a headstand, handstand, if you just want to hang out in child's pose, go ahead, hang out in child's pose. I can't even see you, so it doesn't matter. But do what feels good. It does matter that you do what you think you need right now. So I'll cue crow pose. And if you already know how to do crow pose, you can ignore me. But if you'd like to learn, follow me. So start with your hands planted in your downward facing dog. Walk your feet behind your hands. Plant the hands. The hands are just underneath the shoulders. And we're going to use those chaturanga arms. So start to squeeze the elbows. Keep the elbows pinned in. Just staying parallel, and let your shoulders come forward. Just slightly, so that when you bend, you'll bend into your chaturanga arms. Come all the way up on your toes to press those knees into the armpits. And then with your gaze on the mat straight in front of you, you'll start to come forward. Option to lift one foot. Feel how that feels. Lift the other foot. Feel how that feels. Really squeezing those chaturanga arms. Lifting both feet. So go ahead. Give that a try if it feels good. Know that you can fall. It's always okay to fall. If you need to hang out back in child's pose after you've tried it once, that's okay too. Whatever you need right here, take it. This is just an option I'm offering. Wherever you are, let's all meet back in an extended child's pose. Big toes to touch, knees at the outer edges of the mat. Sit your heels back down, or your hips back down towards your heels. If you've tried something a little challenging, you might feel your heart beating a little faster than it normally does. Maybe your heart is at a nice calm pace. Take a second to check in with your body. There's no right or wrong way to feel, but just check in with whatever that is. Feel the breath move the belly towards the tops of the thighs. Let's all meet back in downward facing dog. Flip the toes, press into the thumb and forefinger, press the heels back, or the hips back and up. I don't know how many times I'm going to mix up hips and heels today, but hopefully that's over. Inhale, lift the right leg high. Exhale, pigeon pose on the right, sweep the right ankle behind the left wrist. Walk the left foot back. If you feel that right hip not quite coming to the floor, you can always bring your book, your prop, slide it, or a blanket or a pillow underneath that hip. Square the hips. Lift the sternum slightly towards the ceiling. Pull your right hip crease back, your left hip crease forward, and put your pigeon to sleep. You can crawl your hands out in front, come down to the forearms, or come all the way down to the mat. We're not here for long, so keep it active. Every inhale, pull that right hip crease back. Every exhale, left hip crease forward. And slowly crawl your way all the way up. Bring your hands to either side of your hips. Tuck your back toes under and sweep back up into downward facing dog. You can lift that right leg into the air. You can let it kind of flop in front of you. Whatever feels good. And we'll meet back in downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your left leg high. Exhale, pigeon on the left. Sweep the left ankle behind the right wrist. And crawl your right leg back. Bring your hands to either side of your hips, finding length in the spine, squaring the hips. Pull the left hip crease back, the right hip crease forward. Lift the sternum just slightly up towards the ceiling. And exhale, put that pigeon to sleep. Coming either to the hands, forearms, or all the way down. Every inhale, pull the left hip crease back. And every inhale, pull the right hip crease forward. Not quite done with the active portion of class. And crawl yourself back up to center. Press into each hand on either side. Flip the back toes. And take your downward facing dog, either sweeping that left leg up or letting it hang in the front. In a static downward facing dog, hip points moving back and up. And try to remember that first down dog of class where we stretched into one foot and then the other. Just take a note, how does this down dog feel different from that down dog? Inhale, look towards your hands, bend your knees, and drop the knees all the way to the mat. You're going to come onto your right or left hip, swing your legs out in front of you, and slowly lower all the way down to the mat. Beautiful, yogis. We're going to take a bridge pose here. Snuggle your shoulder blades underneath you. Draw those heels as close to your hips as you can get them. Ooh, got heels and hips right that time. Progress. Press down into your heels. Feel your shins moving forward towards the front of your mat. Slowly lift your hips up towards the ceiling. Chest comes towards your chin. Chin goes up toward the ceiling. Option here to interlace the fingers underneath your hips for a little bind. Keep those heels pressing down and those shins moving towards the front of your mat. Keep your face soft. Don't let your eyebrows or your jaw hold any tension. If you've taken the bind, release the fingers. Roll onto the balls of your feet and slowly from the top down, lower vertebrae by vertebrae. Rock the knees from side to side in a windshield wiper-esque motion. I'm going to cue bridge pose again. If full wheel is in your practice, go ahead and take full wheel if you feel like it today. I'm just going to be cueing another bridge pose. Crawl the heels back towards the hips. Ooh, 2 times in a row, got it right. Press the heels down into the mat, shins moving forward, shoulders snuggled underneath you, and slowly lift those hips up. Chest to chin, chin to ceiling, almost like you're holding a piece of fruit between your chin and your chest. You can let your fingers interlace if you'd like to take a bind. If you've taken the bind, you can let your fingers loosen back up. Start to come out of the wheel if you've taken full wheel. And in bridge, we'll roll over onto the toes and lower the spine vertebrae by vertebrae. Drop the knees from side to side, releasing the back. Go ahead, plant both your soles of your feet on the ceiling for a happy baby, reaching for the backs of the thighs, the backs of the calves, or inner or outer edge of the feet. Seal that low back down into the mat and rock side to side. Or if there's any other happy baby variation you'd like to take, go ahead and take that. Maybe that's straightening one foot and then the other. Maybe that's straightening both feet. Maybe bringing the soles of the feet together. Whatever you feel like you need in this moment. When you're ready, welcome both feet both knees into the chest. Give yourself a little hug, a little self-love today. Squeeze the right knee into the right armpit. Let the left leg go long. We'll take a supine twist on the right. Bring the right knee over to the left side. Stack the hips. Arms come out to goalposts or to a T. Gaze falls either on the ceiling or towards the right fingertips. The active portion of class is over. No need to do any work here. It's gravity's turn. You've done your stuff. Time to delegate. And sweep that right knee back into the chest. Bring the left knee to meet it and switch legs. Right leg goes long, left knee comes into the left armpit. And supine twist on the left. Cross that left leg over, stack the hips, and let the arms come out to a T or to goalpost arms. Gaze is on the ceiling or towards the left fingertips. We've done so much work to engage today, to engage the core, to engage our arm muscles. And now is the time to unwind. Relax. Welcome that knee back into the chest. Go ahead. Squeeze both knees into the chest. Bring the forehead to the knees. And give one final active squeeze, one final push. And exhale for final Shavasana. Let the feet fall, splayed open to the sides. Maybe pop a pillow under each knee if you want some relief on the low back. Palms face up towards the ceiling. Chest falls open, shoulder blades sinking down into the mat. Relax your eyebrows, the space between your eyebrows, your temples. Let the jaw be so relaxed that the lips just slightly part. Feel the muscle falling away from the bone. As you release, give one final release to let everything relax and melt into your mat. Final Shavasana is yours for as long as you'd like it. So feel free to stay in Shavasana and ignore me as we move forward. Or use a hand to gently shut your laptop or your phone off and come out when you'd like. If you'd like to be guided out now, start to feel the mat underneath you. Feel the cool air hitting the back of your throat with every inhale and exhale. Start to deepen that breath. Bring the pad of your thumb to touch the pad of each of your fingers one by one. And bring some gentle movement to the toes. Rock the head from side to side. Bring some circles to the wrists and the ankles. Sweep the hands up overhead. Reach the arms in one direction and the toes in the opposite direction. Full body stretch. And roll over to the left or right side, using the bicep as a pillow, knees bent in fetal position. Final Shavasana marks the death of our practice. The fetal pose marks the new life that we bring off of our mats and out with us into the world. Using the strength of your hands, press yourself up to a comfortable seated position. Hands at heart center. The love, the light, the teacher and the student in me honors the love, the light, the teacher and the student in every one of you. Bring your thumbs to third eye center and bow forward. Namaste. Well, thank you everybody who joined. I hope that you enjoyed that little vinyasa flow. We have a bunch of other classes this week. I'm trying to do one every day. Hey, Erin, what's going on? I am so happy that you all came to practice with me, whether you're watching it live here or you're watching it on the replay. I'm super excited to keep sharing my practice, and I'm getting more used to doing this virtually. So hopefully it's flowing a little better. Have a great rest of your Monday, and hopefully I will see you tomorrow. We have a noon practice, I believe, a noon time Vinyasa Central Time. So I'll see you guys then. Have a good night.